What's up, everyone? Just wanted to come to you guys while one of the boys is in there doing his boxing lessons to talk to you guys a little bit about some of my posts lately. I know those that have been following me have noticed that they've been a little not so moderate. Yeah, it's true. They have. That's because I'm not a moderate anymore. And I made a post explaining this, so I don't have to explain it again. You guys can go back and read it. I realized that it offended some moderates. It offended some liberals. Yada yada. I got a couple, stupid little comments. Some dude said, "Well, thanks for the heads up, so I can get you to fuck off my timeline," and then he blocked me, so I couldn't respond. So that was that. A couple other people made some comments. I unfriended them. Quite frankly, I didn't block them. I mean, they could still talk to me if they wanted to. But if you don't see anything wrong with what's going on in this country right now, then no, I don't really care to have you as a Facebook friend and read your shit and have you read mine. There's just no point in it. Look, whether people want to admit it or not, we are polarized. We are living in a world, in a country now, where there is two sides, and everyone in the middle is going to get stepped on, because the people that care about the middle, they're not bothering them, but the ones that the tyrannical forces that are rising in this country, they demand absolute allegiance, and they don't have any respect for those who are standing in the middle, or those who are on the fence, or moderates, or what have you. And what's happened in this country so far, what I have seen, is a tendency, because the moderates, because the people who are middle ground, typically are either traditional true liberals, which means that they're not socialists, they're not leftists, they're not that. They're just the old Democrats who still love America, but just think that we could do more for people than we just disagree about policy, right? There tends to be those guys, and then obviously the more liberal Republicans. That's your moderates, right? Well, the thing is that this new left, it's not American politics, guys. This is something foreign that's come in. This is not America. These people that are succumbing to this tyrannical, oppressive philosophy, it is not an American philosophy, not in any way whatsoever. It is foreign, and they demand absolute allegiance. So to those who insist on staying in the middle and not picking a side, I'm going to tell you what's happening to you. What's happening to you is you haven't started experiencing a lot of oppression right now, because you're not kicking against anything. You're not standing up for yourself. You're keeping quiet most of the time. You keep your thoughts to yourself. So when you don't voice your opinion, they don't mess with you. You definitely don't stand up for anything, and they just kind of leave you alone. But eventually, it's not going to be that you being quiet, it's not going to be enough to pacify them. It's not just that they don't want your voice to be heard. They don't want you. Okay? They hate you. And what they're going to do is they look at you as a resource. And this left philosophy is going to come in, and they're going to demand that you hate who you are, that you hate your country. They want you to admit to them that you are wrong, that you are to blame for everything. They want you to deny who you are. They want you to bend a knee to them. They want you to apologize. And all that is to break your will. Those are the first stages. To make someone feel hopeless, to make them feel at fault, that is the stages to breaking someone's will. If I can make you feel guilty, and then I can get you to apologize and be ashamed of yourself, then I have broken your will. Now you'll do whatever I won't tell you to do. Now you'll do whatever I tell you to do. You won't fight me, you'll just do it. And at that point, I have complete allegiance to you. Now I can tell you, okay, well, since you wronged me so much, I'm not going to allow you to speak your opinion anymore. You don't have a right to an opinion anymore. You ruined it. You don't have a right to vote anymore. You don't have a right to own a gun anymore. You should never be allowed to do anything that threatens me because you've already wronged me. So we shouldn't trust you. That's what's going on in this country right now. The left is guilt-tripping America. It's convincing people, as many as it can, that they owe something to the left and that they should apologize, be ashamed, and bend a knee, surrender their liberty, and pledge absolute allegiance to the tyrannical force of the left. That's what's going on. So if you're okay with that, then honestly, you're one of them anyway. But if you are someone who wants to maintain your ability to stay in the middle, who wants to maintain your ability to be a moderate, who wants to maintain your freedom of speech and your liberties, then we are at a war, and you're going to have to pick a side and fight in this war. I'm sorry, you don't want to fight with the right. I get it. You don't want to fight with conservatives. Well, you're going to be fighting with somebody, or you're going to be oppressed by somebody. You don't get to stay out of it. This isn't going to have a neutrality phase or position. They are going to come for you. And you will submit and do what they tell you to and be on their side and fight on their side, support their side. Or you will, as free men, stand up and decide to defend liberty with the other side. Whether you want it or not, those are the options coming. And I'm telling you, I have danced around this and hoped I was wrong and talked objectively about this for years. But the truth is that it's unavoidable at this point. I believe it's unavoidable. I believe this cold culture war that we are in right now will go hot. And when it goes hot, things that you experienced during the pandemic, during weather situations, where, there is something disrupts the food supply, something disrupts the merchandise supplies. When this goes off, it's going to be violence. It's going to be sectarian violence. Trucks will be being hijacked. Stores were being looted and burned like they were this summer. And then supplies are going to get harder and harder. And when supplies get harder and harder, when people can't go to the store and buy milk and buy bread, clean water and things like that, when they can't do that, then people are going to get angry. And they're going to start taking it. And then those who own this property are going to start defending it. And then you're going to have violence. And then those who are on the political left are going to be mad at those on the political right, and they're going to start fighting. And those who are part of this leftist ideology, they're going to come to your neighborhoods, and they're going to demand that you give back to them what's always been theirs. Your house, your life, your freedom, your liberties, all the money you've ever made, you owe it to them because you wronged them in some other life. And they're going to demand that you surrender your possessions and that you give them absolute allegiance. And that is going to be most likely how this whole thing plays out. And then we are in a full-blown sectarian war. Because people are going to stand up and they're going to say, I don't owe you shit. This is my property. These are my guns. And they're going to organize, and you're going to have militias of conservatives fighting these mobs of socialists. And boom. And that's probably what's going to happen. So my advice to you guys is don't be a fool. Noah built the ark before the rain. So join up. Start building networks of people that you can depend on. Start coming together and figuring out your plans. How are you going to grow food? How are you going to have supplies? How are you going to defend each other's families? How are you going to respond when one of your friends and their families are in trouble? How are you going to get there? How are you going to get them out? And you start thinking about this stuff and preparing. I'm not telling you to go full-blown conspiracy theorist, television prepper mode. I'm telling you to be smart about this and go legitimate preparation mode. Rough times are coming. And the government and these big businesses have already had their trial runs with COVID and other ways. They've already had the trial runs. They're figuring out what they're going to do. You need to figure out what you're going to do. So as a community, start thinking about and preparing for this. Before these executive gun actions are passed or whatever's coming, start using your money to purchase weapons so you can defend your homes. Start purchasing supplies. Start putting a few things back. Money, your debit card may not be worth much in the future. Cash may not even be worth much in the future. All right, but supplies will be worth everything. So make sure that you have a plan and have something to fall back on. That's my advice to you guys. I hope you heed to it. And if you have any questions or comments or need any assistance in anything, you can reach out to me, and I want to help. Whether it's training you or helping you prepare, whatever we can do, whatever me and the network I have can do for you, we want to do. We want to help you guys. All right, so that's all I have for now. Stay safe, and talk to you later.